This is some of the fancy footwork we've seen in the past at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. A little bootleg spin on the big end. Sloppy conditions, even by mud racing standards, will dampen that dusty flourish, but the NMRO All-Stars hope to make a big splash just the same. Coming up next, we'll see who puts the best face on this messy situation. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the All-Stars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Mud Racing Series. Today, it's the Penda four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Fall Nationals from the Indiana State Fairgrounds here in Indianapolis. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee, and welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the National Network. It has been very wet here in central Indiana the past several days, and as far as the weather is concerned, I would say it's a double-edged sword as to how it affects today's competition. But when you're working with Army Armstrong, he has all these unique ways of describing a situation. So take notes. We're going to teach you two new words in motorsports as we go trackside to my colleague Army Armstrong with his assessment of the weather.
Gary, we've got a unique situation in the infield of Indy because the Class 5 competition is getting ready to make a run, and these drivers are facing what I'm going to call a yin and a yang situation. Okay? Class 5, cut tires, not the scooper. So the horsepower is going to be important. We've got plenty of horsepower because it is cold out here today. Matter of fact, we're not expecting it to get over 70 degrees. That will make more horsepower for these engines naturally just because they're cooler. That's the yin. The yang is, it's been raining here for 2 or 3 days. It's literally a quagmire out there, and the drivers say there's nothing to get a hold of. It's going to be like skipping a rock when you were a kid playing in a pond. You've got to get on top of this track to make it work for you here today. If you don't get the horsepower to the water and stay on top, it's just not going to work for you. The yin is the horsepower's up. The yang is the bike's not on the track. Now we got to figure out who's going to figure out the yin-yang of this thing and go to the winner's circle. The first two are going to the line right now. Let's go see how it's going to happen. Back to you, Gary.
There he is, your motorsports philosopher, Professor Army Armstrong. Well, very sloppy conditions, even for this sport. It rained very hard and very consistently yesterday. The infield has been a mess. They've been pumping out the water. The graders have been working. Well, mud soup track conditions. A track record for 180 feet, 2.82. That was Buddy Curley in the Snoot in 1992. We're ready now for our first pairing. Here is Tom Davis in the backyard Bogger, a CJ7 Jeep with a big 454 cubic inch Chevy engine. Ron Smith alongside Gold Fever, pretty car, 1948 Fiat with the big 496 blowing Rodec.
You know, Gary, there's always a war within a war. Well, Ron Smith is in kind of a battle with another vehicle, we'll bring it out later, to decide bragging rights on who has the fastest 1948 Fiat. We'll tell you about that a little bit later, but right now, whoa, look at this. Ron laid down a shot.
A cannon shot. Look at this. A new track record for cut tire competition here in Indianapolis. 2.79. Tom Davis a 4.86.
Well, that makes Smith not only the fastest Fiat, but like you say, he's on the point of this thing with a 279. Gary, that could be unbeatable, and it came right off the bat. If there's such thing as a perfect run, that was awfully close to it. He stayed on top, just like I said, he was skipping that rock.
Well, as we look again, indeed, unusual to be that fast this early in the competition. Here's Army with Ron.
Ron, on a day when everybody said it wasn't going to work, you put it together with a number of 279. That's the quickest ever run at this track.
Well, the KCD car hooks up real good in mud. It's made to run in mud, and the outerwear pre-filter kept the mud out, and we just hauled as fast as we could go. It's awful wet out there. We hope it holds.
Well, here comes a good test. Two previous winners, the Mud Patrol and S-Kicker. Jeremy Finley in the S-Kicker, Tom Meents in the Mud Patrol. Both have won here at Indy.
That was a good mud race there.
Look at that for Tom Meents at 2.936. However, Finley was quicker. Finley's time was a 2.930 in the S-Kicker. He was the Class 6 event winner here back in 1991. Let's take a look again. And once again, Meents gets out first, but the competition is against the clock, not against each other. Here is Jeremy Finley.
Hey, Gary, this guy's got to have more guts than Dick Tracy. He's the first one to make a run through here today without a top on the vehicle. Does that affect you anymore being out in the open? Because you know you're going to get muddy.
The way the water's spraying, even if you're in an enclosed car, you can't hardly see going through there. 'Cause the first thing it does is cover you up.
So you made the run basically not being able to see where you're going?
Yeah, pretty much. You can sort of see, but it's fuzzy.
I guess in motorsports they call that blind luck. We're coming back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Penda Four-Wheel and Off-Road Jamboree Fall Nationals, brought to you by Ford Trucks. Army standing by now with Tom Means.
Tom, the times are really surprising everybody. We thought they'd be a lot slower. You guys are turning some trick numbers out here in a real gooey track.
Yeah, some of their cars really went quick. I didn't quite get the run I'm looking for, but it went pretty good down through there the way the track was. I was kind of surprised.
Do you think you might be able to stay in the top 5 with the numbers you've got here today? This is a tough field.
I don't know. There's a lot of cars back there yet to run, so it'll be interesting to see.